everyone, and welcome back to the Dream Life Loading Podcast, Season 2, Episode 19. I'm your co-host, Skye.
And I'm your co-host, Susan. How are you today, Skye?
I am good. Nick and I ended up doing a little sort of last-minute trip to Milan last weekend, which I love the ability to travel via train here in Europe. It makes everything so easy. Like, it was an early train, but you can get everywhere via train, which I feel like in the States is just not the same sort of thing. And it was pretty reasonably priced. And it was just such a cool experience to be able to go and explore Milan and just get away for the weekend and try some different foods. It was funny going to Milan as people living in Italy because we weren't really going for Italian food. We were like, they have a lot of foods that we can't get in Murano. So we were looking for like the Mexican foods and the bagels. So it was kind of funny, but we had a wonderful time. So I'm feeling back into our routine and I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm good. We had my birthday over the weekend, and it was the best birthday I've had, honestly, probably ever. It was just so good. It was filled with simple things that I love, and people that I love. So I cannot complain, and I feel really refreshed. So
How are you
all
feeling
good things.
about your 24th year of life? What are your
Very
expectations,
good.
hopes, everything?
Well, I think that this will definitely be the biggest change of my life, having a child.
Yes.
But I'm very excited. We also had our anatomy scan on Friday, so the day before my birthday. So that was exciting. We got to see our daughter for the first, well, not the first time, but like this is the first time she looks like a person.
It
So that was
really
very
does. Oh, it's so cool. Like when you sent me those and I was like, oh my God. And then I'm so glad you said it. You were like, there's actually like a baby in there. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing because it is like, I feel like until like I obviously can't experience it in the same way, but this is the first time I've experienced someone close to me having a baby. And it's
Mhm.
really like you understand these things more and more when it's like closer to home. I'm sure obviously you're
Yeah.
understanding this even in a more connected way, but it's been so cool to follow this journey with you. And I wish I could be there. It's so weird. Like every time I see like a picture of you, I'm like, oh my God, like Susan is pregnant. Like it's just, I see this part of you most of the time.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how the next couple months go and how motherhood is.
Realistically, you would only know I'm pregnant maybe one day a week. I do not wear like my clothes that I wear that are comfortable are just naturally looser now. And my sister was up last week and she was like, stand up. And so I stood up. She's like, you don't even look like you're pregnant. Like you maybe look like you have a little belly pouch. Like maybe you just drank too much the night before. She's like, but you don't look like pregnant. And I was like, so you think I'm skinny?
I was gonna say
Um,
that's like the best compliment, I bet.
but I was like this morning I went to the gym and I didn't have like one of my big oversized tees. I just had like a regular t-shirt and I was like, oh no, like you can definitely tell I'm pregnant. But
Well,
and then I
that's
wore
cool. Like,
something
there's nothing
tight.
to hide, like
No. But it's funny because I don't wear like I used to wear tight fitted clothes
yeah.
and now I don't. So you really unless you know, you don't know.
Bodysuit Queen has taken a break.
Yeah, bodysuit queen will be back though. I'm very excited to get back to my Skims
Well, then you and your little
shapewear.
girl can wear bodysuits together.
Oh my God, you need to see her closet. You're gonna die. She has like fur vests
Oh,
and
she's gonna be
she's
so
gonna be
excited.
styling.
It's like you're gonna have your own doll. You get to dress her however
Yeah,
you want. Like,
a mini me. I think literally.
oh my God, I hope she has red hair. Like, I really hope she has red hair.
Me too. Yeah, I think my hair was so red when I was born, and Chris has a ginger beard. So I feel like there's very good odds that she will, if she's not ginger, I feel like she would be like strawberry blonde.
I
I
wonder,
will be shocked if she comes out with brown hair.
wouldn't that be so funny? And
It
well, I
would
feel
be.
like if she come, would it change? Were you born with
It
red
can
hair?
change. Yeah, because like my cousin was born with jet black hair and it fell out and turned blonde. So like,
Me too. Exact same.
yeah. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. It's so exciting. So, this episode, this topic, I don't remember how we first started thinking about this, but I think it was just we were both sharing like little things we were incorporating into our daily habits, daily routines, whatever. And it got me thinking like, there are so many moments, not so many, but there are moments in a day, in a week, in a month where you have these different situations where you're like, okay, I have 5 minutes to spare or up to like 30 minutes to spare. And you're like, I have this right now, and then I have that, and I don't have to leave for 30 minutes. And unfortunately, a lot of the time you just end up sitting on your phone because you're like, I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. There's not enough time to do anything. And that got us thinking, what to do when you don't know what to do. So we have both put together very exciting lists of all these things you can do when you only have 5 to 30 minutes to spare. And it's going to keep you off your phone and productive and feeling super good. And honestly, I will say, even just making this list got me so excited for the next time I have 5 to 30 minutes to spare, because it really is so easy to keep yourself on track and keep yourself off your phone and doing productive things if you plan ahead for it. So I think even just listening to this podcast, the next time you have those moments, you're going to think back and be like, I don't need to waste my time. Like, there are so many little things that I can do right now.
Yeah. I broke mine into categories, and my first category was productive slash organized. And some of these are on your phone. Because if you're in public and you're like, I know,
True.
waited for a lot of doctor's appointments lately, and it's like, what do? I bring my Kindle most of the time, but sometimes if I forget it or I'm in a rush. My number one thing that I do if I have 5 to 10 minutes is organize my camera roll. I
Mm,
don't understand how many things I screenshot in a day that I don't even need.
me too.
But it just clogs up so much space. So I try to do that at least once a week.
Yep.
And then emails. That is
Yes.
another one that can sneak up on you. Like work emails, I am on it and I don't have those hooked to my phone. But my personal email, I just neglect for some reason. So that's a
I'm
quick
the
and easy
exact
thing.
same way. I don't have my work email on my phone, which means the first time I open my computer every day, I go straight to my work email. So that I'm
Yeah.
always up to date with. But then I get into my routine. I never get to my personal email. And especially like being in Milan last weekend, it adds up because I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. I belong to so many ridiculous brand promotional emails that I do not need. So most of the time it is just going through and selecting all
Delete.
100
Yeah.
emails and deleting them. But yeah, I had that. And then I also had unsubscribed to email lists. Like this, for
Yeah.
example, if you have 30 minutes, just like this is a perfect one to do if you're out in public, just go through and every one of those random email brands, like, because we all do it. It's like you want the 15% off, you throw your email in, and then you don't ever want it again. So just go click
Yeah.
unsubscribe. It's going to make your life in the long run so much better, so much cleaner.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And then the last two I have for productivity slash organization, they also kind of go into my cleaning category, but makeup drawer,
Yes.
I don't know why, but that just gets unhinged sometimes. And then like we all have it, like a clutter pile that just collects. And it's usually for us, it's mail. It'll be like Chris opens the mail and then I didn't file it or whatever. And so that is just an easy, and it takes 2 minutes to do. Like just get it done, and then you can use your other 8 minutes to be on your phone if you really want to. But those were two big ones.
So I didn't organize mine. I should have, but I realized as I was writing it out, I had a big one is journal, which I think for us, it's
Yes. I,
the obvious one is I think a lot of the time, if I think of it, I will pick up my journal if I have those little moments. But then I was thinking about all the other things you can do with your journal. And a lot of them were like making lists. The first one I was thinking
mm-hmm.
of was our list of like things that make me dot dot dot, whether it's things that make me happy, things that make me think of summer, like whatever, however you want to organize your list. It's so fun to create in the moment. And then when you're having like a bad day or a sad day or any sort of emotions, go back to your happy list and just read through all the things that bring you joy. Such an easy
Yeah.
thing to do, and it is such an immediate mood booster and also such a fun journaling exercise. I feel like it works on both ends, like when you're writing and when you're done writing.
Absolutely. So my next category, which this was already in, is self-care.
Yes.
So um this one is different, but this is one of my favorite ones to do is a dance party.
Yes.
I just like 10 minutes, that's like two good songs or all too well 10-minute version. Um and it just gets like your I don't know what endorphins, I don't know what the happy hormone is, but it just gets you going.
Is
And
that
I used to start my morning every day, like in high school, dancing.
yes.
And I didn't do it as much at the apartment just because I did have neighbors, but at the house, like, oh, you'll catch me dancing at least once a day.
I think that's one thing working from home. I don't do it like, and I almost, even if you're not dancing, which I do think helps, like that movement is going to
Yeah,
like increase those happiness
things.
things, whatever, whatever we want to call it. But even like when I used to drive to school or drive to work,
Mm,
blasting music or having like those songs that lighten your mood makes such a big difference. So
yeah,
honestly, like if you have that 10-minute moment, even if you're in public and you can't dance for that moment or whatever it may be, throw your AirPods in and put on a song that just like here, this was another one on my list, make a playlist. You could kind of
I
combine
had that on mine.
you could combine like your list making with making a playlist. Make a playlist that you can turn to that'll always brighten your mood. Turn that on, and that's 10 minutes that you just like completely turned your day around.
Yeah, podcasts too.
Yep, I had that as well.
Another one, this is my favorite, and you got me hooked on this, is sitting outside.
Mhm.
Like anytime. I am fortunate to have a covered porch with skylights, which has always been like my dream, and this house just happened to have both. So even if it's raining, I always try to find time. It's cold right now, so I'm not sitting outside in 20-degree weather, but it is just so nice to just go outside and get some sun.
I agree. And honestly, when it does rain, I feel very grateful that our patio here is like covered on top, like because we don't live on the
Mm-hmm.
floor. So over the summer, when we would have like summer rainstorms, I would go purposely sit outside during it. I wouldn't get wet, but you would see the rain, sometimes see the lightning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the most magical thing. And it is, I feel like sitting out in the sun has its superpower, but then sitting out in the rain also has its superpower. And they work
Yeah.
on like they work for different reasons, but they both definitely have that little bit of magic, and it is a mood lifter no matter what. I feel like any situation,
Yeah.
it's like let yourself like if you honestly, if you're like in a project at work, you can't figure it out, you're feeling super stressed, walk outside for 10 minutes, no matter what
Yeah.
the weather is, like just escape your space, clear your head, clear your space physically, and mentally will follow.
Yes, absolutely. 2 weeks ago, we had a day here. It's been cold. Like it's been in the teens here for a while. But 2 weeks ago, we had a day. It was like 55 degrees out, I swear. It was so warm. It felt like summer. And by the time I got out of work, the sun was on the front of the house. Like usually we have time in the afternoon where it's on the back of the house, so I can just sit back there. But it was already to the front of the house. And I was like, Maggie, grab your ball and we are going to play fetch in the front yard by the street because I need the sunshine. And we literally stood in like the one section where the sun was still coming through before it set, and she was enjoying it just as much. She didn't even want to play fetch. She just laid down in the snow with the sun on her face. Like we were thriving.
It is like, and this is why, like, if you think about it, like, I know Callie, my dog at home, will always find like the little patches of sun, like,
Yes.
like it makes a difference. Like the pets, animals see it too. So yeah,
Yeah.
sunshine, like you said, like being outside at all is just such a game changer. And I think meditation could go with that. I often
Yeah.
find meditating outside is a lot easier for me than inside. I think it's just part of like escaping your everyday space. And if I'm sitting outside, I don't have the distractions around me where like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna meditate at my desk. Like I would probably just open my eyes and like go back to what I was doing. So if
Yeah.
you if you find yourself like, well, what am I gonna do if I'm sitting outside for 10 minutes? Throw on a meditation. Like you can use Apple Fitness, YouTube, like so many various options for it, but that'll help clear your mind too. And you feel productive after, even though you haven't really done anything. Like you've just sat
Yeah.
there. You are like really helping yourself.
Exercise is another thing I had on this list. And this one, especially being pregnant, like there are some days where I legitimately just can't get out of bed in the morning for whatever reason. And I've been loving on YouTube just like workout videos. They have like dance ones, walking ones, hit ones, obviously modify what you have to, but just that 15 to 30 minutes in the I've been trying to do it in the afternoon, even if I work out in the morning, because it gives me that extra energy boost that literally takes me through the evening. Like if I'm not doing something, I'm asleep on the couch by 7:30. But with this added like exercise, I can last till 9:30, which to Chris is a miracle. So
I completely agree with that. I had put down to stretch because I think if you have like that
yeah,
10-minute mark, just stretch, like especially if you are someone that, let's say, like you works out in the mornings. And then I think if you're busy in the mornings, you get your workout in and then you're running, 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 and you kind of forget stretching, which I think is
yeah,
such an important aspect. But even if you don't work out in the morning, stretching is going to be important for anybody.
you,
But
yeah,
then if you have, so if you have the 10 minutes, I would stretch. If you have 15 to 30, an at-home workout is totally the way to go. I completely agree with you. I've been loving my Apple Fitness workouts there. And like you said with YouTube, there's so many good ones and it's so easy. There's no reason not to. Like turn on your phone with YouTube. Like you don't need to put it on your big TV screen if you don't want to. Like
mm-hmm.
it's so easy. Just throw it on. 10 minutes is better than nothing. I think with working out, That's something I've been trying to tell myself. Like, you don't have to do an hour long intense workout. If you have time for 10 minutes, that's better than having time for nothing. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be giant and like it really doesn't. So something better than nothing, which I think is kind of like the theme of everything here.
Yeah. My other one is make a fun drink. I don't know if you probably do remember this. My fixation last spring was iced tea. I
Yes.
was drinking
Life.
like
Okay.
gallons of
Yes.
it.
That was literally your personality for probably 2 months.
Yes, it was. It was during our house buying process. That was
Yes.
the one like glimmer of hope in my life was that I had an iced tea every afternoon.
Yep. And
Um,
sometimes you knew if it was a rough day, if the day started with the crystal light.
yes,
Walk
yeah.
in, be like, oh, Susan is in one today. We have started. It is 8 a.m. and the crystal light is going.
You know what's so funny is I was looking back at that time frame because had a crystal light the other day and I was like, oh my God, like it tastes like spring. Um, I wasn't drinking alcohol. I did not drink from March until May for no reason
You were
other.
switching out your twisted teas for your crystal light.
I mean, essentially, yeah, because I legitimately liked the crystal light taste better. But I'll tell you what, actually, my father-in-law this morning at the gym was like, "How long do you have left? 5 more months?" And I was like, "Well, technically, yeah, because you're technically pregnant for 10 months, which is fucking bullshit.
What?
It's terrible." Um,
What?
yeah, 40 weeks is technically 10 months.
Oh my God.
I
Let's
terrible,
hope
right?
that doesn't happen to you.
So, so I was like, yeah, give or take. I was like, I'm telling myself 4 because that sounds better. And he's like, you probably can't wait for that first twisted tea. I was like, that will be packed in my diaper bag. Like, jokes aside, but I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely. And you will very much deserve it.
It's gonna be summertime. Get me a half and half. Like, oh, I can taste it already.
Yes. This little moment reminded me of something else that was on my list, which was to voice memo or to call a friend. And I think
Oh yes.
something I definitely do more now living abroad, but I also think voice memos became a thing over the past couple years anyway, so it
Yeah.
wasn't really a thing before, but it'll be like 5:30 to 7:30 and it's like I'm still doing work, but it's like, all right, I need like 10 minutes. It's like, oh, I can voice memo. And it's the best way. You feel great because it's almost like your own mini little podcast. You just rant and like sometimes like we know our voice memos get up to like 10 minutes. It's fine. And then sometimes you'll respond right away or whoever I'm voice memoing, but if not, then you have like a continuing thing and you can build in your responses when you have little bits of time throughout your day. And I think especially being so far, it's a nice way to stay in touch with friends. But it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have the time to go back and forth with somebody. But I also think it takes the pressure off if you do only have 10 minutes and you don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody because a 10-minute phone call might not be enough time if you get into it, whatever. But send a voice memo and then someone knows you're thinking of them. You get to reach out, but you don't have to engage in more of a conversation than you have time for.
Yeah, you don't have to sit there and type.
I know that. Oh, yeah, that too. That is, I don't remember the last time I've sent like a long text because I'm like, I'm just going to voice memo.
1000%. The other thing is reading. I mean, I'm a Kindle girl, but
That's number one on my list. Yep.
that's my favorite thing to do. I love it.
I think the Kindle makes it easier to
So
pick.
accessible.
Yes, so accessible. And I've been doing a lot better at reading while I eat because that's
Mm.
one time like I have to be doing more than one thing when I'm eating. I don't know, like someone can probably tell me like what it is that's wrong with me that, but like I have to be watching something, listening to something, whatever. And I often find that I will just grab my phone and start scrolling TikTok while I'm eating. But my Kindle, I can prop it up and then just click the button to go next. It's not like I have to be holding it with one hand, flipping pages with another. Like it's very accessible to do while you're eating. So yeah, the Kindle's great for those 10-minute moments or like the habit stacking moments, if you want to call it that.
And the lighting situation doesn't matter either. I know if I have like an actual book, like I need all the lights on. I love that the Kindle just adapts to whatever environment I'm in. And it's so you can just pack it in your fanny pack, in your purse. Like it just goes everywhere with me. I love it so much.
And I feel like it makes you more productive on the go. Like you were saying with these doctor's appointments, waiting for appointments is the number one time that you will waste time because you don't
Yeah.
know, like you're not in your space, you don't have your work with you. Like, what are you supposed to do unless you can respond to emails on the go? Or like, I guess you could edit a TikTok. Like there are some things you could do, but
Yeah.
90% of the time you're not going to want to get into a project and then get called because you're next. So pick
Yeah.
up Kindle. If you're going to scroll on TikTok, you can easily as just as easily pick up your Kindle and read for.
They should really sponsor us.
I know because the amount of free advertising that we're giving here, like
Do you know how many people I've converted?
I
Like
know
my
between
elevator
us,
pitch
I
for
would
a Kindle
yep.
is unmatched.
No, we do love Kindles over here, which from two like very paper girls, it's very surprising.
It's just living proof that you're just making excuses for yourself why you don't need one.
It's true. And
And I
it's
don't want to hear it.
that you can change. I think we were both so stuck in
Yeah.
our ways with loving the feel of a paper book, but you really can change if you like stop and like listen when someone's telling you like this is why you should have a Kindle, whatever. Like listen, like there's positives with changing
Mhm.
your routine, which I think for again two very type A routine-based girlies is sometimes hard to hear, but it's good to switch up your routine. It's good to improve your life. And the Kindle did improve our lives. So there you go.
And it's saving us so much money.
Yes. Oh my God. Books are so much cheaper on the Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. I don't remember the last time I paid for a book.
Yeah. No. My last category was cleaning.
Yes.
Especially with a house, things get dirty fast. I was not expecting how quickly things get dusty and dirty. It's like we weren't even in here. How is it dirty? But it is. So I'm just gonna like rapid fire
Yep.
my
Go.
little list. Dust, bathroom floors, purse slash backpack, and junk drawers. All of those things can be done in 15 minutes or less.
Absolutely. I had a bunch of cleaning ones too. I had clean one small space, which could be
Yep.
like half the things you just described. I think my nightstand gets messy really fast. My like the counter in my bathroom or even like the kitchen if you have breakfast and put away like the stuff that needs to
Mm-hmm.
go back in the fridge, but then you're like, "Oh, I'll put the honey away later," like little stuff like that. And then one I thought of the other day, your Tupperware drawer. I don't know what yours looks like, but mine is a nightmare. And it's every time I'm in the middle of wanting to put away leftovers at the end of the night, that's when I look and I'm like, oh my God, I really need to clean this. But I never
Yeah.
want to do it when it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm putting dishes away. So another thing I had was when you have those 10 minutes that you don't know what to do, make a list of all the things you want to do the next time you have 10 minutes where you don't
Yes.
know what to do, which sounds hilarious. But if you're like tired and don't want to actively do something, take 10 minutes to make a list because then go to it the next time like oh right I wanted to do my Tupperware, I wanted to clean my shower, like whatever it may be, you can boom 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 check everything off.
Yep. So funny, like ironically about the Tupperware drawer, that has never been an issue in our house because Chris's biggest pet peeve is a messy Tupperware drawer.
No
I've
way.
seen fling at his parents' house when we were still living there, fling lids across the room and was just in anguish that the audacity of his family members for letting it get this bad.
Oh,
So our we have an entire actually the biggest cupboard in our kitchen is just for Tupperware, and we have all matching Pyrex because that was also very important to him. And then the lids all get stacked on top of each other in the drawer in the cupboard next to it. And if he's in charge of doing dishes, he will take out all the lids and make sure that they're in order by size. I just throw them in
yep.
because we use Tupperware so frequently. But he is anal about the Tupperware drawer or cabinet.
That's a man, he is setting himself up for success every time he opens that Tupperware.
Every time.
Wow. Good for Chris. I was thinking with another habit stacking trick, if you are cleaning out, we'll go back to our Tupperware drawer, for example, and you like, I don't know, if I'm cleaning, I have to have something, some sort of noise, whether it's music, podcast, YouTube, Netflix, like I need noise going on. So I was thinking if you aren't somebody that like likes to sit down and read, because I know it probably, I'm sure there's people that listen to this that are like, oh, I'm not a reader, like next try an audiobook. I'm not a big audiobook person, but I
Yeah.
think it's because I like to read. But if you don't like to read, you might really find an audiobook is like a great hack that you can read books, but you're on the go. You can clean your Tupperware drawer, listen to a book. You just crossed off two things on your list. So I think audiobooks would be like a great thing to add, or like we talked about earlier, add a podcast in while you're cleaning your space, making your to-do list. Like there's so many activities and things that you can get done in your day that don't require real brain energy, and then you can add something else on top like a TED talk if you want to like learn something
Yeah.
new, a masterclass, a TED talk, YouTube educational videos, whatever it may be. You're helping your brain and you're helping your space all in one.
self-improvement books on Audible sound like podcast.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've never thought to do that.
That's how I got into self-improvement. The first self-improvement book I ever read, which I listened to, was Rachel Hollis, and that's how I got into that whole world.
Interesting. Do you prefer listening to self-help books or reading them?
I haven't listened to a book since UNH. But if I don't know, I'd have to do it again because now I'm so used to like highlighting and interacting that way. But I'd have to try it again because I really did enjoy it. That's what I would listen to when I was walking to and from classes.
Smart. Yeah, I've been so into podcasts recently, so I haven't even
Yeah.
thought of that. But I feel like Audible gives you a certain amount of months free when you first sign up.
Yeah.
So
I
like
don't like it's been years that since I've used it, but
I mean, I might go give it a try myself and see, pick up a new book. And then, I mean, so here's the question. We both have reading goals on Goodreads. If you listen to an audiobook, does that count towards your reading goal for the year?
yeah, I think so. Because it's going to take you more time probably to listen than to read it yourself.
I think it does too. I feel like I was talking about this and I feel like I had like yeah, it counts for this, but it doesn't count towards this. And I don't remember what what I was thinking when I had that conversation. But I do think I would say, I mean, it counts that you read a book. Like
The
you
information in your brain,
yeah,
regardless of how it got there.
exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I definitely. And I think it depends on what type of learner you are. I know listening without seeing is so much harder for me.
oh, for sure. Because I start doing something else.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Or just start thinking or whatever.
Yes. I think it counts that you have read that book, but like in my habit tracker, I have like read fiction. I wouldn't
Yeah.
cross off that I've read fiction if I was listening to it, but I would count it that I was reading that book. You know, like there's the difference.
Yeah,
But like if you're not a reader, mark it as both. Mark it that you read fiction. Like who cares? If it like
absolutely.
once again, if it works for you, what does it matter?
Exactly.
Was that everything on your list?
It was.
I want to go through and just do rapid for the last couple ones here. I guess we talked about masterclass. I had a few recipe related ones. I had find new recipes to make and then plan your meals. I think if you're at the end of a week or at the beginning of a week and you haven't planned out what you're going to have for dinner that night, the next night, whatever, just go through. I love meal planning. We've talked about this and like making your grocery list with all the ingredients you need for your recipes. So fun, especially if I think we get into a rut with recipes when we don't take the time to find new ones. So if you have those 10 minutes in your day to just sit down and find new recipes, TikTok has so many, and especially if you start saving a few, they'll pop up on your feed all the time. And I love how easy TikTok ones are to follow because they're super short. You don't have to read a big recipe list on a website or whatever. It's just so easy to follow. You can watch somebody else do it. So yeah, I had plan your meals and find new recipes and then research new habits to start. Why not? If
Yeah.
you're often finding yourself in these situations of I finish my work, I don't know what to do, time for a new hobby. Like literally go on Pinterest and search up like what hobbies to start. And I mean, I can't think off the top of my head, but like you could start to draw. You could start you were doing knitting a few years ago, like learn to plan
Yeah.
yeah, so many different hobbies, and that's a good use of your time. Um, we talked about lists. I had make a bucket list or a gratitude list. We love our
Mhm.
gratitude lists, and that's if you're feeling like unmotivated and take 5 minutes and literally just write I am grateful for and just list everything that comes to your mind. And I feel like it makes you like such a more more grateful person for lack of a better word. Like I feel like it
Yeah.
really does make you think. Um, update your resume. This is so easy. Update your resume, update your LinkedIn. Everybody, like, I feel like at any moment you can go in and change something about your resume, change something about your
Yeah.
LinkedIn, make yourself sound better. And like, there's always room for improvement. And then my last one was write a letter to your future or your younger self.
I love that.
I think that those are so fun. It was a exercise that my therapist actually had me do was to write a letter to my younger self. And oh my God, I know we had it on the list for our summer program, our summer
Yeah.
challenge last year, but it was more the way we had done it was write a letter to at the beginning of the summer, write a letter to yourself at the end of the summer, like talking about, or as if it's the end of the summer, like talking about all the amazing things you did, kind of as like a manifestation activity. But this was more of like a, like talk, like the way I wrote it was like write as what you needed to hear when you were X age. So healing, so tender. Like you really think about all these things that you probably hadn't thought about from your childhood in probably years, or write it to your future self and like manifest that way. Like see what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. You could do it as like a goal setting method, strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love stuff like that. And it's so fun to look back on too.
absolutely. Yeah.
That was all.
Favorites?
Yes. You first.
Okay, my quote of the week is be the woman you'd look up to. I have been really trying to embrace that because I'm going to have a little human around here pretty soon watching how I behave. But specifically how I treat and talk about myself. So I have just been trying to be the role model for myself that I want my daughter to have.
I love that. Yeah. And I was gonna, I assumed you were gonna go to talk about your daughter, but when you first said the beginning of that, I was like, well, you are gonna be the person that somebody looks up to. So it's so, yeah, I love that you're thinking ahead with that, obviously, but I think that's so important to just get in that mindset early for both
Well,
of you.
it's the perfect time to practice because your body changes a lot very fast when you're pregnant. And just whether, like, some people I think just love being pregnant and like love all of those changes, but I wasn't anticipating said changes so fast and
Yeah.
so like large, like not necessarily physically large, but just like large changes to your body. So just learning to love it.
Yes, I love that. This kind of goes in line with that. Do you follow Kelly Rutherford on Instagram?
I
She
don't
was
so.
Lily Vanderwoodson in Gossip Girl.
I didn't watch Gossip Girl.
Oh my God, that needs to be next on your list. What?
I
Okay, huge side note.
really watch the same four things. Like,
Oh. But anyways, I started following her because her fashion, like she posts a ton of outfit of the days in her like
yeah.
elevator mirror, and I love her fashion. So I was following her because of that. But she posted this quote, and you can go look it up if you want to see the full quote, but this was just the beginning. It says, um, take the pressure off yourself to perform for the world, perform for yourself. And I love that. Like you
Oh,
really are like it is all a performance. And I think like that's such a fun way to look at it, but don't perform for anybody else. Like perform for yourself, for your own satisfaction, for your own gratification, like for your own approval. It's all like everything
yeah.
you do, like it's not in a selfish way, but everything you do is for yourself. Like that's the reason you should be doing things. So even if it's you're doing it for yourself to then help somebody else, like like it obviously you should do
Yeah.
that for other people, but at the end of the day, the beginning of it starts with what's best for you. So I loved that quote.
I really love that. My other favorite of the week is Duolingo because
Hey!
Yes, I'm back on the train. But not with Italian. Chris has always said that he wanted his kids to speak French because his mom's side of the family is all fluent. And then my dad's side of the family is fluent.
I didn't know that.
We have all the ties to it. And then his pen pal is from France and they speak obviously French. And he has two daughters that are gonna be 2 and 4 years older than our girls. So Chris has always vocalized that it was really important to him. And then last week he brought it up and was like, "Do you think you like could you actually learn like so you could like teach her?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I like kind of brushed it off. And then I saw one of his family members posted something in French, and I was able to read 90% of it. And I was like,
Susan.
"Oh, I was like, that is just ingrained in my brain from high school. Like it's in there. Because I took French in high school and then Italian and Spanish in college. And the base of it is all the same. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. And I'm on a 3 day streak because that's when I downloaded the app was 3 days ago. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm very happy to be back with it. And I think I'm more motivated with this because it's something that I can pass down, which is exciting.
Absolutely. Good for you. It's so exciting.
I'm gonna make him take me to France once I'm fluid. I think fluent. I think that would be my treat.
Been in this for you. And you know what? I'll meet you there. So then, yeah.
Me too in Paris.
Yes. Um, this is so stupid. But my favorite thing is beans.
Beans?
It just sounds so funny. Like I literally wrote down like favorite of the week is beans because Nick and can't even say it with a straight face. Nick and I have been on such a veggie kick recently, and I think it started because Nick saw this TikTok of this woman who made this dish, and it was just, it sounds ridiculous, but it was a bowl of cannellini beans with a quick homemade tomato sauce and then burrata cheese. And
Oh,
oh my God. And Nick was like, can we make this for dinner? And I was like, really? Like, you're the hockey player. Like, you don't want like a meat protein? He was like, beans? Like, that's a great source of protein. I'm like, I'm on board if you are. So we made that. We loved it so much. It was filling. It was easy. It was quick. It was honestly cost efficient because if you're not buying a meat protein for every day of the week, like that helps, whatever. So many benefits. So we kind of started making it a thing. And every week we do one vegetarian meal a week. And it ends up being obviously beans as the main protein. I've had so much fun. I've done like garlicky Mediterranean beans, obviously that white
mhm.
cannellini beans. Like you can do so much with beans. Like 2024 is the year of the bean, and I will stand by that. Everybody, just give it a try. Beans have no flavor. You can add them to anything.
You can add anything. I'm gonna send you my 3 bean salad because
Ooh,
it's like vinegary, but it's so good. And I know that you guys like pickled vegetables,
yes.
so
Yep. I
you're
made
gonna
a black bean soup, which
ooh,
maybe was one of my favorite things I've ever made. Again, so easy, but it's, I think you think about, I don't know, I think beans get a bad reputation, but
I
it's
think
really
they're underrated.
that too. They are underrated, but this one girl on TikTok was kind of our inspiration because she posts like, here's what I make for myself as a personal chef when I come home after cooking all day and I don't really want to cook more,
Yeah.
but I need to cook. And she's like, beans are easy. They're nutritious, they're quick, they're cheap, all this, and this. So yeah, we it's and you know what? It's just a fun new thing to experiment with. Like it gets you out of your
Yeah.
comfort zone, new foods, new flavors. So yeah, that's my favorite of the week is beans.
Beans. I love that.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give us a review, a rating, and we're so excited because we have video on Spotify now. So you can watch us on YouTube or here on Spotify and always Apple Music as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.